Lord General Magnus welcomes all of you to Magnus Division. We have the first day of what will become a multi-nation, all-out nuclear war. So this is going to be kind of the main scenario where I've updated all the nuclear forces across multiple nations, which is no easy task. And in some places you got to kind of fill in based on what the U.S. Department of Defense says, and even a little bit of guesswork here and there, because there's not good breakdowns of numbers. So on some things, for instance, how many Russian tactical strike fighters have nuclear warheads? We know how many of certain kinds they have, how many are outfitted, how many would they be able to deploy in short order. So I tested out in previous videos, which you'll find in the description down below, several different start point scenarios. And what I'm using is really a blend of my two favorite ones. So this is going to start, just to give you a quick rundown, and this is day one. And when I say a day, this is really looking at 1 day of simulation time equals about 1 week of actual conflict. It's going to start with North Korea at a time of high tension, September 7th, 2024, at noon. They're going to launch a Hwasong 15 ICBM. The idea is that they're going to detonate it over the Pacific Ocean. It goes horribly wrong, and it's going to surface burst in Tokyo. After some deliberation, the U.S. is going to make a call. They're going to eliminate the known North Korean nuclear and chemical weapon sites. They're going to do that through the use of B-52 bombers, standoff air-launched cruise missiles with nuclear tips. That is to be certain that they're able to eliminate. Now, China is going to respond. Nukes are being lobbed in their backyard, basically. Now, they have a no first use policy, but they're going to consider that the first use has been broken. So it's going to be somewhat of a warning shot, but also a shot of opportunity. They're going to try to take out the THAAD battery that's in South Korea. They've never been particularly happy about it being there, so this is going to be their opportunity to take it out. While this is going on, in the Black Sea, we're going to see, take this off, an escalation between Russia and the United States. There's going to be a close call between some Russian surface vessels and a U.S. vessel. The U.S. vessel is going to get sunk. The U.S. Navy is going to retaliate by sinking the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. While this is going on, they're also going to make a conventional strike against the location that China launched, used a mobile launcher and a Dofang 26 to take out the THAAD site. So it's going to be still conventional strikes, but they're going to hit it with several conventional munitions. Back in the European theater, Russia is going to, as a warning, airburst a high altitude, low yield nuclear warhead over the Black Sea. As a warning, the United States is going to make a massive conventional strike on Russian bases along the border. They're going to avoid targeting any strategic locations or early warning radars. These are going to be conventional strikes, and again, the aim is to not continue this escalation ladder, but they want to eliminate the threat coming from the Russian border. At the same time, China is going to respond to the conventional strikes on their mainland, and they're going to airburst at a very high altitude over a less populated area of Guam. And again, this is more of a warning, you need to back off. The United States now feeling like they're potentially now in a two-theater war, or more or less are at this point, is going to make the judgment call that they're going to employ tactical level nuclear tipped warheads on air-launched cruise missiles like they did previously, and they're going to target several coastal locations and bases for mobile launchers. Again, they're avoiding hitting strategic locations and focusing more on tactical and theater level. Same time, after the massive conventional strikes, Russia is going to authorize theater level tactical nuclear strikes against bases in western Ukraine. That'll take us to the end of one day, 12-hour period. It'll take us to midnight, and what I'd be representing as about a week's worth of time. So let's go to the attack plan. Execute all plans. It's this way you guys can see there. So I'm gonna move it back out of the way, but so I'm gonna run it at the simulation at different speeds at different times. Because again, this is going to be 12 hours in the sim. So right now I'm doing 10 times speed. So we've had about 2 minutes pass. It usually takes from launch, the go button to launch to strike on this first one, about 20 minutes in simulation. So about 12:05. Tell you, it's no easy task updating these nuclear forces. So we see the launch starting now. And early warning radars would be alerting us like something's going on. I know Japan has kind of tossed around the idea of deploying their own THAAD battery. Now, this being an ICBM, THAAD is not, strictly speaking, designed to intercept an ICBM. They're going to be traveling too fast. The THAAD is meant to intercept at the terminal phase, and it's designed to intercept up to intermediate range ballistic missiles. Having said that, it's not to say it couldn't be possible. I don't believe they've tested it. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So there's our first detonation. I'm going to pause it real fast. We'll check in casualties at certain points. So you see right here, over 1 million casualties from that detonation in Japan. Let's go back. So it's going to take approximately 4 hours and 35 minutes for these air-launched cruise missiles. So I'm going to go 100 speed because it's going to take us right around to 435. And you're going to see this will take off here and start to launch. pick up the speed a little bit here. Oh yeah, not from there. That's Okinawa. There we are. I'm sorry, they're coming from Guam. Go just a little bit faster there. Okay. Pause and we'll take a look. Approximately 224, almost 225,000 North Korean casualties, and then there are some 2,000 Chinese casualties. And again, probably fallout. Okay. So the strike on THAAD should start to initiate in about a minute. Okay. Let me pick up the speed a little bit here. There we are. So THAAD is trying to defend itself. And it worked, surprisingly. This sim doesn't do the best job for ballistic missile defense. You really want to use command modern operations for that. I was surprised it actually intercepted it, but that's fine. Point is, whether it landed or not, or destroyed it or not, China made that strike. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other theater now. We'll switch back and forth a few times. So this is going to start at 1800 hours. So let me run this up a little faster. Whoa, a little too fast, but you get the message there. So U.S. ship was sunk. Let's see here. So I definitely want to take this one a little bit slower. At 1830, U.S. is going to strike back, and then they're also going to make the conventional strikes in the South China Sea at 1840. So let's take a look at these bad boys. Like I said, the sim doesn't do a particularly good job of conventional strikes. I was going to have some separate videos to use command modern operations to kind of show some of this stuff, and I am going to do that. I just wanted to put this video out today and focus on the nuclear side of it. Okay. You get the message kind of over there. I wanted to spin back around here is we should be seeing there's the U.S. airstrikes going into China. They're attacking the launch location. These are, again, meant to be conventional. So back here we have Russia now having launched. Their low yield strike, high altitude strike over the Black Sea. This one's always hard to track. You can barely see it there. I'm going to speed it up to 100 times speed just so. See, it's still coming down. Okay. So a couple things are happening now. We're having the U.S. airstrikes along the Russian border. It's going to take a second for those to fire off. And there's also the Chinese detonation over Guam. So it's going to be firing from one of these guys right there. That would have been at 1910. I read that right. So I'm going to say that this probably has already happened. Yep, I can see the smoke cloud right there. So unfortunately we did miss that. But we still have the airstrikes here. So I have to keep note that I'm going to end up pushing that back a little bit. It's a tricky thing with this. Some of these strikes take quite a bit longer than other ones. And so, like that Guam one, I made a note. I'm going to end up pushing that one back a little bit. And so as you watch this video series, because this is going to be the part one, keep in mind it's gonna escalate, and it's gonna escalate very quickly. You know, this is starting in the first few days, and there's a lot of restraint being shown. It's gonna get to that point where you're gonna see there's gonna be a ton of stuff flying around And it'll probably be a little more exciting. Okay. So where are we at now? So the B-52 should be launching against the Chinese coastal cities. And then there's also going to be the Russian strikes in about a half hour. So let's come back over here. So there's the B-52 right there. This is where I'm going to have to be a little careful because the Russian strikes on Ukraine may end up being faster than this one. Okay. We got that there. I'm going to pause real fast. Just trying to keep track of where we're at on these two. Okay. I think we still got quite a bit of time there. Check back in over here real fast. Still a significant amount of time there. Stay focused on this one. Let's go ahead. Speed this up a little bit. Back. There we are. So we're going to go a little past midnight time-wise, but that's fine. Again, it's about 12 hours, or what I consider about a week. So as I go through part 2, all this will run out again, but it'll be, I'll do it very quickly. We'll get to the last strike, and then it'll start from there as the escalation ladder climbs higher. Yeah, I should have known this was going to take quite a bit more time, these airstrikes. So the United States, right now, and it's United States, China, North Korea, and Russia, and of course we'd have South Korea and Japan. All of NATO is going to be involved. Alrighty. Pause. Let's look at some casualties here. So these casualties are going to be a mix from nuclear and conventional losses. So we're looking at 1.4 million Chinese losses, 1 million Japanese losses, almost 300,000 Ukraine, 226,000 North Korean. And overall, almost 3.2 million losses. This doesn't factor in what would be considered military losses, like the sinking of the U.S. ships. That would have added to it, sinking of the Russian ships. But if you look at overall civilian casualties right now, we're at almost 3.2 million, and we'll be climbing. So, this is where tensions start. They escalate due to a missed detonation. It leads to escalation in multiple theaters. What we're going to see is we're going to see some stuff going on in the Middle East. We're going to see some stuff between Pakistan. Well, it's going to really start with China and India and then engage into Pakistan. So we're going to see this really start to take on a worldwide perspective across all nuclear armed nations. And so be on the lookout. This is really part one, the first week. We'll look into week 2, and the escalation is going to climb dramatically. And then week 3 is probably going to be who's going to rule over the ashes, so to speak. So thanks for checking it out. Please like and subscribe. Please share the video. Get the message out. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.